Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Oxnard City Council Public Works and Transportation Committee. The meeting is held pursuant to the state emergency services. I'm sorry. I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Oxnard City Council Public Works and Transportation Committee meeting for June 22nd of the 2021. This meeting is held pursuant to the State Emergency Services Act and the Governor's Emergency Declaration and Governor's Executive Order N-29-20 to allow members of the City Council or staff to participate via teleconference as a precautionary measure to help slow the spread of COVID-19. The City Council facilities are temporarily closed to the public. The public is encouraged to view the meeting from home on the city's website at oxnard.org/city-meetings, Spectrum Channel 10 or Frontier Channel 35, or YouTube at youtube.com/Oxnard News. Video recordings are typically available online immediately following the meeting. Please see the link for the Measure M pre-recorded presentation video for each agenda item below. The public may provide comments to the City Council via emails at citycouncil@oxnard.org no later than 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Please identify the committee name, meeting date, and agenda item in the email subject line. A telephone option for public comments is also available at this time. Requests to speak may be submitted no later than 2 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Use the form on the city's website to submit your request at oxnard.org/city-meetings, or call the city clerk's office at 805-385-7803, or email your request to cityclerk@oxnard.org. The city has filed pre-election and post-election lawsuits regarding the validity of Measure M. The judge has not yet ruled on the legal sufficiency of Measure M. Madam Clerk, may you take a roll call and address posting of the agenda? And Madam Clerk, can you lead us in the flag salute when it gets to that time, please?
Councilmember Lopez.
Here.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Here.
Chair Perillo.
Here.
The agenda for this meeting was posted at the kiosk located outside of City Hall on Tuesday, June 15th. Thank you. Please rise for the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Chair.
The next item is public comments items not on the agenda. And pull this thing back. I have received one written public comment from Ms. Boker with respect to some issues, and she sent photographs. Very grateful for that. Excellent points the young lady is making. The next, I have a public comment request from Alicia Purcell. I don't know if she's available yet.
Yes, she is, Chair.
Go ahead, please.
Alicia Purcell. Alicia Purcell.
Okay. I think I'm unmuted now.
Oh, yes, thank you. You have 3 minutes to speak.
Okay. I'll be brief. I won't use the whole 3 minutes. Part of the judge's ruling in the infrastructure use fee case was that the city was to reduce its utility rates by the amount of the IUF, and the deadline to do that was last week. So I just want to make sure that council members are aware that you're currently in contempt of court by not having that done already. It's not a new development. You've known since the end of December that you needed to do this, and I'm not sure what the reason is for not meeting the deadline that the judge set. May want to have a conversation with the city attorney's office about the potential consequences of being in contempt of court. And, you know, we can't just ignore delays in implementation. So I thought it was important that the council be aware of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure our city attorney, who I believe would be present, Mr. Early, has heard that, and city manager's heard that also. And Madam Clerk, were there any other comments for public that's not on the agenda?
Chair Perello, that was our only comment for tonight's meeting.
No. Okay, thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. My fellow committee members, I'm asking to have this item pulled. I'd like to give a little explanation. The first set of minutes are 4 months ago, and the second set of minutes are 3 months ago. Why I feel strongly on this item. The city of Oxnard has a representative that serves on the Ventura Regional Sanitation District. There is an ongoing potential, yet to be identified, issue with the Ventura Regional Sanitation District. And the representative for the city of Oxnard, myself, is excluded from items on the agenda, closed sessions. I have continually asked to have an explanation for that, and is yet to be done. Several dates, at least 10 hours of closed session discussions, and it's yet to be addressed, what is going on. Most recently, and this has to do with minutes, most recently at my request, it didn't even identify that I'm not in closed session. And their attorney felt that, didn't need to address that. In committee member comments, I'm making this statement, and I wanted it on the record. It's going on the record that when a member is excluded from closed session, it should be noted. And when it's not noted, it does not serve the organization well. It does not serve the public well. And on this particular item, the minutes today, we have 28 minutes into the meeting. There was an extended conversation, and it had to do with the Public Works agenda item D2, the award agreement for All Tech Industries, armed security. Public comment was Mr. Ray Blattel, good public comment, lots of discussion, but it says discussion ensued among committee and staff. The person that's not identified in this is the general manager, the city manager. The comments that were made, very strong comments with respect to this, and comments made by members, even the mayor, identifying this is a lifeline to the city. There needs to be some way that this gets in there. And I will give you the reason very bluntly why. I recently had the ability to attend the site with our city attorney and our public works attorney. A subject came up about getting minutes straightened out, and a point was brought up, and I want to thank the attorneys for bringing it up. If the minutes are inaccurate, and with the litigations that go on in the world today, someone comes after us, and in reviewing our position, we go back and review the minutes and find there was a mistake, and we correct it, and it goes to court, somebody will ask this question: what did you know, and when did you know it, and what did you do about it? We need to have accurate minutes, and we need to have, as soon as possible, the minutes brought to the body so that they can review them. And if they see something that needs to be addressed and changed, they can do it. And that's why I'm asking these minutes to be held to another time. I don't know if the committee will go along with that, but that's what I'm requesting. Any comments from other committee members?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just a point of clarification in terms of how much detail the minutes should have, if that's something that our city attorney's office can answer. If what is the guideline on that? I mean, I do understand what you're saying, but I think if we need to provide direction to our city clerk, to identify certain comments or points that should be included, what is the best way to do that?
I will wait for the attorney after my comment here, but I can tell you on the very first set of minutes, February 23rd, when we identify Craig Beck as the Public Works Director, that's an error. It's wrong. He's the interim Public Works Director. When we identify votes and we go member Lopez, seconded by Zaragoza. Zaragoza is a member. When we identify under the committee members and staff, and we omit the general manager speaking, that is an error. And those, they may not be significant, but I think those are accuracies that are missing, even if we just simply follow action minutes. And I would love to hear from our city attorney if he's here.
Yes, hello, Paul Early, Assistant City Attorney. So minutes aren't specifically set forth in state law or the Brown Act. However, as we've adopted Robert's rules, they are addressed briefly in Robert's rules, and they don't require a detailed record of what was said. It's mostly a record of what was done, is what the minutes are for. However, notwithstanding that, the body itself is certainly able to create its own rule and make its own requests for how they would like the minutes to be presented. And you certainly can do that here in the subcommittee or citywide if the council decided to go that route.
Any comments?
If there's an error or something that we want to change in the existing minutes, you certainly can make a motion to bring it back, or the chair can just direct that we bring it back at the next meeting with that correction made.
Well, the specific one that has really got under my skin here is this matter of the guard. The public member brought up very good points, wanted to know why we would have armed guards, wanted to know about the cost, wanted to know why you would give someone a gun in a residential neighborhood, even a security guard. And it was pointed out that from our staff, which specifically was the general manager, that water is a precious thing. And in this recent, not in the last several years, with what's coming in public facilities being under attack, and it was even mentioned in the discussion, an attempt to burn down the armory where the homeless are housing, we need security. And it could be even tightened up even more than what the recommendation is. But I believe that that needs to be put in here, because if we have the presence and people just read this and something goes wrong, no one has a clue as to what the discussion was. And this goes forward to the council unless they pay attention and go back and remember what was done in February 23rd of 2021 and listen to the meeting. They won't have a clue either when we prove this forward. And if something were to go wrong, I believe that we would not be serving the city. And I hope that if I'm wrong, please hold me. I've never claimed to be infallible, but on this particular thing and with what's going on and having to have accurate minutes, I believe we need to have accurate minutes. Because if it ever came and they said, well, the public works director was Joe Blow, and it turned out, well, that was inaccurate. It was an interim public works director, Joe Blow. No disrespect, Mr. Beck, but I think the accuracy of the minutes is extremely important.
You're not certainly not incorrect. It's not a issue of that. You can certainly ask for anything to be added to the minutes and brought back at a future meeting. And if you wanted a more detailed minutes in the future for all meetings, then you might want to consider taking action to make that kind of direction and take a vote on that. But adding something that's important to you at any given time like this that you want to see added to the minutes, just ask for it to be added, and it can be brought back as such.
I would very strongly hope that whoever does the minutes double checks minute 28, where it starts, where the information, I believe, comes up really important. And it's got to be I'm not a one-man show. I need the buy-in from my committee members, at least one other. What do the committee's members feel?
Go ahead, Lopez.
Thank you, Mayor. So I support that, Councilmember Perello, and I appreciate Mr. Early's clarification, specifically for us to identify if there is a specific mention, a specific item or line that should be included as part of the minutes. I think that's a good clarification so that we can make note of that moving forward. Or if we want during a meeting, during the public meeting, to make sure that something is added to the minutes, that we make that statement so that the city clerk staff understands that. So I do support your recommendation to make the corrections as stated.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr.
Thank
Chair,
you.
can I add a little bit to
Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
to the city attorney? and potentially our clerk. The question was that, let me back up a little bit. If the person is John C. Zaragoza and the C is missing, is that pertinent to a PRA eventually? Or as opposed to the title?
Is it, I'm not sure what you mean by pertinent to the PRA.
Say, for example, somebody has a public records a request.
Yeah. I wouldn't see that as a flaw in
Oh,
any
no,
way,
that's-
but if it's important to John C. Zaragoza, that's how you prefer to be called, you certainly can request that it be changed to that. And
Because that's my
reflected in the
official name.
minutes.
I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
So, but it's not pertinent for legal wise because it's John Zaragoza regardless.
No, the minutes are a reflection of what was done at the meeting, a record of that, but we would always fall back on the tapes for anything what was actually said or done at a meeting.
But the titles are, as long as we know that John Zaragoza is one of the members of this committee, then it's okay.
If it's okay with you, it's not a legal
Well,
issue.
okay, but
It's
not
the same person.
not legally.
Not
Oh,
correct.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to verify that.
Okay,
But I
thank you.
support- But I support that
And the main reason is the accuracy and the details are two separate things, but these are important deals. And Mayor, specifically, I'll read. This is what it said where I brought the issue up having to do with your name. It was moved by members Lopez, seconded by Zaragoza. We should have had, if we're going to have Lopez as a member, you should have been a member too. Equal
gotcha.
respect.
I understand.
That was my point.
I understand.
And on here, we have it was moved by member Perello. If they're going to address and we're going to put title, it was moved by Chair Perello. And if the reason for that is it's rarely the chair makes the motion. On this one, the chair made the motion and the chair should be hung on that one. So should be that way. But the issue on item 28, minute 28, with respect to the comments that were made to the questions from a member of our Oxnard City public and the points that he made and the address to those points, which all three committee members weighed in on, I believe that needs to be somehow included in this. That's why I'm requesting it to be brought back.
And I support that. I believe that more
Okay.
accurate, the best, because you're right, if you're the chair or if even the position of interim for any department, I think it's important. But I
Yes.
support that we get the most accurate type of minutes that we can get. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on,
Need a motion to bring it back or?
I'm not sure. The city attorney, do we need a motion to bring this back?
No, you can just direct them to bring it back at the
Okay,
next.
we'll
Okay.
just- Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Mhm.
Please, and thank you, Madam Clerk. This is just a point of housekeeping and it's one that's got to be taken care of. That's all. Okay, the next item on the agenda, moving forward. We have reports. The first report is Public Works Department. Subject, amendment to the on-call professional services agreement. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council authorize the mayor to execute the following amendments totaling $1,250,000 for on-call professional service agreements. The first, number one, this is a 5-part item. Number one, First Amendment to Agreement 8699-19-PW with Philippine Engineering Incorporated to increase the contract by $150,000 for a new contract value amount of $400,000 for the term date of September 3rd, 2022. Item 2 under this agenda item. First Amendment to Agreement 8795-19-PW with Casmar Group LLC to increase the contract by $300,000 for a new contract value amount of $500,000 with a term date of October 14, 2022. Item number 3 under this agenda item. Second Amendment to Agreement 8256-18-PW with Twining Incorporated to increase the contract by $250,000 for a new contract value amount of $600,000 with a term date December 31st, 2021. And item 4, under this this agenda item. Second amendment to agreement A-8079 with Lighten Consulting Incorporated to increase the contract by $250,000 for a new contract and value amount of $600,000 with a term date of December 31st, 2021. And item 5, the last item under this agenda item, third amendment to agreement A-8187 with Encompass Consulting Group to increase the contract by $300,000 for a new contract value amount of $800,000 with a term date of October 1, 2022. This item was made available with pre-meeting with a pre-recorded presentation. Due to Measure M, it is not being shown here, but there is a link to get this. And I'm very grateful for the presentation. Do we have any questions or comments on this presentation? And I did not get any notice that there were public comments on this item. Madam Clerk, have any others come in for public comments on this item?
No, we have no additional public comments for the rest of the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Do the committee members have any questions, concerns, or it's on this item?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to motion.
Go ahead, Mayor.
A motion to approve because I think the on-call services are really important because we have numerous projects, that are really important, like the pipeline replacement, the street resurfacing, the new public restrooms, the sport court resurfacing, and many, many more. So I think that on-call service is extremely important as when we started working on those projects. So thank you, sir.
Okay.
I will second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Is there any discussion on this? No, seeing none. I would like to make a comment on this. I also support this, but I would like to get an answer to a specific question. The video presentation was very well done, but I do have a question with respect to these consultants that give us advice and going forward with a project. How long is their insurance in case there's errors and omissions on their advice? How long does the insurance protect the organization based on decisions that were made using their advice? I'm told the term is, what is the tail on the policies they have to protect themselves and us?
Chair Perello, I can answer that question. Tatiana Arno, City Engineer. So generally speaking, the errors and omission insurance covers the city from the start of the design and all the way through construction, and anywhere between 3 to 10 years after the construction is complete, depending on the type of consultant and service that is being provided. So in short, that's the answer to that.
Miss Aronet, the voice is cutting out. There was a long blank. Can you please repeat your answer, please?
Yes, of course, no problem. So generally speaking, errors and omissions will cover you from design through construction and anywhere from 3 to 10 years thereafter the construction is complete. It just depends on the type of service they're providing and things of that nature, but that's generally speaking how errors and omissions works in terms of protection for the city.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's enlightening, and it allows you to sleep a little bit better. Liz, this council member, to sleep a little bit better. Do we have any comments or questions for our city engineer from the committee?
No.
Hearing none. Madam Clerk, a roll call vote.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair Perello,
Yes,
motion passes 3-0.
thank you. And thank you again for the presentation and the explanation, Ms. Aronoff. Appreciate your work. Number 2, item 2, Public Works Department, subject approval of changes to Chapter 19, Public Works, Article 1, Sewage System, Wastewater Disposal of the City of Oxnard City Code. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the city council approve and authorize the mayor to execute amendment to the Oxnard Code of Ordinances, Chapter 19, Public Works, Article 1, Sewage System, comma, wastewater disposal sections. The sections are listed as follows: 19-3 abbreviations, 19-4 definitions, 19-25 prohibited discharge standards, 19-26 local limits, 19-36 additional pretreatment measures, 19-46 discharges from food establishments, vehicle maintenance facilities, and commercial and industrial laundries, and 19-51 industrial wastewater discharge permit requirements. Again, this item was made in a pre-presentation due to Measure M. There is not a presentation made at this meeting, but is available online. And does the committee have any questions or concerns? And again, I appreciate the clerk telling me there's no comments on this item earlier. Do we committee members have any comments or concerns or questions on this item? Go ahead, Mayor.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think those abbreviations and those Oxnard city codes and ordinances are, and the template for any work that has to be done for the public works is extremely important. You know, just if there's any concerns, I'm sure that our attorneys and our public works director can go back to whatever abbreviation or definition or any discharge or standards or local limits or concerns are really important. So I think this is really important that we update, you know, our code, our city code, and also the ordinances, you know, that support the sewage system for the city of Oxnard.
Thank you. Councilmember Lopez, do you have any questions?
No, none on my end, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I have some questions on my end. The presentation was good, Mr. And I hope I pronounced the name right, Baduan Madras. Gave a good presentation, and I just have a few questions. There was a discussion with the Chamber of Commerce. What were the concerns from the Chamber of Commerce? The second question would be, it was addressed that the boron and other items, the limits would be set later. And I have a definition that I need explained, gross beta. And those are my three questions.
Okay. Well, good evening, Chair. Good evening, members of the committee. My name is Bede. My name is Bede Wimuderas. I am the Technical Services and Water Quality Manager with the Public Works Department. And going through this project, as it affects our major businesses, and we call them significant industrial users who discharge the majority of our business flow to the wastewater treatment plant, and updating our ordinance to the local limits, which is a requirement by the federal laws and regulations. We had given a presentation or a couple of presentations in 2018. And through the concerns that were expressed by the business community, we went back and did some additional studies. And after doing our additional studies, we came back and we presented two presentations to our business community, as well as a presentation to the Chamber of Commerce. And through our studies and our new findings and new recommendations, we got the support from our community as well as the Chamber of Commerce. So that's how the Chamber of Commerce was involved in the process. Now, the second question that you asked, which has to do with those limits that we're going to do later. So a couple of these constituents of concerns, mainly boron and total dissolved solids, also known as TDS, happen to be tight enough that some of our businesses had concerns. So what we're allowing is, once our ordinance is official, 30 days after approval from council, is that we're gonna go back and work with each and every one of these businesses and set some site-specific limits that they can live with. And that is what that comes from, those site-specific limits. And in doing so, we will be able to move forward and make sure that our businesses are not negatively impacted by our updates to the ordinance. And I did forget your third question.
The third one was the definition, beta was discussed, and then it talks about in your presentation, gross beta. Is that,
Yeah. So-
my science classes are a long time ago. Radioactivity, is that what we're talking?
Yeah, so yeah, that's correct. And beta could be a constituent of concern. It's not a current constituent of concern with the city of Oxnard. It was at one time a concern from a discharger that was from the region, not even in the city of Oxnard. And there was a one-time issue with the gross beta, but that issue has been taken care of. And since then, we never had that problem. But since it's taken us quite a long time to update our ordinance, we made sure that that issue is being covered under the new ordinance.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Moderator, I appreciate the presentation, and I appreciate your answers.
You're welcome.
My concerns have been addressed. I hope the public understands the reason we're looking at it would be kind of like a joke. Everything goes into the sewer system. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not true. There's a lot of bad stuff that get in the sewer system. And especially we have a water purification system tied into the liquids that come out of our sewer system. We're going to reuse them. So if we get some really bad stuff in there, we could jeopardize a very expensive and health, welfare, and security of our community. There was note in there that we would not be taking oil and gas production wastes. I'm very appreciative of that, because I know that the issue that came up in the past that was mentioned, the radioactivity, came from a site that dealt with that material. And I believe now we will not be doing with any material coming from that type of business. So again, thank you very much for the staff for doing this. And do we have any further questions by the committee?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mayor. Go ahead, Mayor.
Motion to approve this item, but something relevant was said that this is a health and safety issue. And if, on the, over in one of the southern states during the freeze, there was a wastewater plant that was emitting quite a bit of toxic material that really should have been controlled and so forth. But I think this is a very, very important item, and that's going to protect not only the businesses, but more our residents and our constituency.
I agree.
Make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Madam Chair, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Chair Perrello,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Zaragoza.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank the staff again for the presentations that we've had with the video presentations. Moving on to the next item. And the next item is Public Works. Public Works Department. It's item number 3. Subject: Operational Technical Services LLC Agreement A-8335 for on-call operations support for water, recycled water, and wastewater. The recommendation that the Public Works and Transportation Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute agreement A-8335 with Operational Technical Services LLC, OTS in parentheses, in the amount not to exceed $400,000 for a 3-year term ending July 20, 2024 for on-call operational services, on-call operational support services for water, wastewater, recycling, and divisions. There is a video presentation, but because of Measure M, pre-recorded presentation, it's not available at this meeting. And do we have any questions, concerns, or comments on this item from the committee?
The question I have,
Go ahead, Mayor.
is this, it's very, very important, I think. Is that mandated by the State Water Resource Control Board?
So I'll answer that. Good evening, committee chair and committee members. My name is Jan Hauser, wastewater division manager. All three of our facilities, water, wastewater, and recycled water, require certified operators to be at the plant and run the plants continuously. So yes, the certified operators are required by the state.
So, and this is really important, again, to provide the safe, reliable, potable water for the community, and it's a mandated item, correct?
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You're welcome. Do you have any comment, Committee Member Lopez?
No, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'd like to just weigh in on this. Mr. Hauser, thank you very much for the presentation, the explanation, and the licensing. At one time, and there may still be going on right now, there was an opportunity for people to learn about the licensing process to work in these facilities, and that's what we're looking for. If something goes on, suppose people get sick in one of these departments, we need somebody with a license to step up and take over, because these operations are 24/7. We don't shut down our sewer system, our wastewater, or our recycling water. You got to have somebody there, and you have to have somebody with the license, responsibility, liability, and the obligations of knowing what's going on, so that we don't get anybody hurt, we don't get anybody sick, and we don't get sued for making a mistake or fines for making a mistake. The point I'm getting at, do we still have the opportunity, or are we taking advantage of any potential people that want to learn something about getting their foot in the door in these types of licensing? I know that the wastewater recycling had been doing something like that. Possibly students working with the junior college, high school students that were interested, because I have been approached by moms and dads, how do kids get a job making, quote, the big bucks? And there's not always an answer to making the big bucks, but I know that these licenses are very valuable to the individuals that have them. They're not that abundant, and the people that have them can kind of write their own path. Can you get into that a little bit, Mr. Hauser?
Yeah, sure. As you may or may not know, finding senior experienced certified operators for all three of these types of facilities is very difficult. There is a dearth of these experienced operators out in the marketplace. And so what we have been doing is hiring basically entry-level people and training them in-house, and hoping that they advance to the point where they can take over these senior positions. So also Ventura College has a program specifically for this purpose. We have not recently anyways worked directly with them, but I think that's a great idea, and we'll probably talk to them and see if we can get a more formal program together. So.
And we would want to do that at the Oxnard College campus.
That's right.
So
Okay,
that's, they could start a program if they don't already have one. They could certainly start one in Oxnard.
The sound is breaking up a little bit. Can you? And I'm pushing this. I don't have kids of my own, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that do have kids and they'd like their kids to get a good job. Can you mention a little bit about the educational facilities and where, if a mom and dad or grandpa and grandma's watching this, they can say, hey, Junior or Missy, you want to go take this out? Junior college, the local community colleges?
Yeah, Ventura College has a program, a water program specifically to train certified operators.
Okay.
And
I heard something about Oxnard.
Yes, this is according to you, the general manager. We're going to try to get that program at Oxnard College, but we're also straying off the agendized item here.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, thank you. Any further questions by the committee?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Yeah.
Motion, okay. Do we have a second? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call, please. And there were no public comments on this item.
Chair Perrello,
Yes,
Mayor Zaragoza,
Yes.
Councilmember Lopez,
Yes.
motion passes 3-0.
thank you. And thank you, Mr. Hauser. Thank you for the presentation. Committee, we're moving to item E, items for future agendas. Do we have any suggestions for future agendas, committee members?
No. Not for
Okay.
me.
Committee member Lopez?
No.
Okay. I would like to, I know that we're working on this, but I would like to get it back. What is the issue? Pressure, fire hydrants in certain areas of our city where that was a question. I'm waiting to get an update on that. And that's the only thing I have. Do we have any comments from the city manager or the city attorney on this before we adjourn?
Chair, may I please ask you to repeat your request for future agendas?
My, an update on the water pressure issue with respect to fire hydrants in various areas of our city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I have no further comments. Thank you.
Neither do I.
And city attorney?
No additional comments.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Chair Perrello, we don't need a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Thank
okay, then the meeting is adjourned. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you.
Clerk.
Thank you.